Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Black. Today, we want to talk about season 9, episode 5 of Ready to Love, the Pajama Jammy Jam. All right, so first, we want to start things off with the fellas meeting up at a cigar bar. They're all meeting Justin for the first time. LaRon comes out and says, hey, Justin is not in any competition. I don't see any competition. He's not going to take my girl. Now, which girl is that, sir? Are you talking about Koshia or are you talking about Maya? Because you can't have it both ways. All right. Tommy, go ahead and let them know that Laylleh is out of the process, off the journey, as he likes to say, and the guys react to it. From there, then Tommy tells them about the pajama party, right? They get all excited. They're looking forward to seeing the ladies looking their best and their best fits. But here's the thing. I can't let this go on any further, guys. I have to talk about their attire, right? Sorry. They're at a cigar bar, gentleman's spot. The way they're dressed, like they didn't put any effort into their attire. Not saying you're supposed to be in your Sunday's best, but you should dress accordingly when going out to a cigar bar and just stepping out the house in any general way. Unless you're going to the mailbox and back, maybe to the corner store, gas station and back, then you shouldn't be doing this. But I digress. All right, guys. So next up, we have Alexis and Dominique going out on a date. I'm trying to understand why Dominique is out there with the cargo shorts on. I just don't get it. Why are we still doing this? So they're having a little date where it's like getting stretched out. It's one of those dates where it's kind of like you like going on a foot rub date, So it's one of those kind of relaxation type of dates. And when you're in those type of settings, you want to be able to cut the tension a little bit with a little light humor, a little fun, a little laughter. And that's something I think Dominique did really well on this date. So all in all, I think that they seem like they're pretty much vibing so far. Besides those cargo shorts. All right, so next up, LaRon and Vanessa go out on a date. Seems like they're doing yoga on surfboards. But first, I'm looking at LaRon. I'm asking myself, what in the name of tacky does he have on? Fellas, I don't care what kind of date you're having. You have to at least coordinate when you're attire. I know it could be a lighthearted date. It could be a serious date or formal, informal, but you still want to at least look like you put some type of effort into your clothing. And LaRon, just like he woke up and decided, okay, we're going to do this, let's do it. So it doesn't show that you have interest in a person when you don't put any time into what you're wearing. So LaRon really messed up when it came to that. Now, the date itself, it wouldn't be a date that I would necessarily try to do as far as yoga on surfboards, just for the reason what LaRon was going through. He was going through a lot of pain. He lacked balance and coordination. So with LaRon having those issues, it wasn't a good date for him. He was ready to go. And also, with Vanessa, she almost failed as well. So with that being said, it wasn't really the best ideal date. I did like seeing Vanessa with no makeup on. I thought that was really cool. I think she's really pretty, even without the makeup. So I liked seeing that. They had a conversation, though. They had a conversation about, him being a party guy. So with him being a party guy, he tried to explain who he truly is and that he's not really a party guy. But I don't think Vanessa was really listening. And it's tough to listen. It's tough to be heard when so many people are really just talking negative about you or saying that one thing about you. But at the same time, if you're bringing up a subject to someone, to the actual source, the person itself, you have to give them the opportunity to speak on that behalf, on that meaning. So if you can't do that, don't even bring it up. So at least LaRon was trying to say, hey, that's only 10% of who I am. I have someone who will offer. Her next question should have been, well, what are those things that you can offer? That would have been more of a motivating effort to try to get to know him, But I think with her saying, well, he doesn't have kids, so he don't understand, it was like she was making up things in her head to bring distance between them instead of a closeness. So if you have your mind already made up, don't accept the date. Don't go out with me if your mind is already made up that you don't want to be with me, you don't like me, you're not interested in me at all. Don't go out on a date with me. It's a waste of both of our times. I know it's for the show, but we're saying in general, when it's just a regular one-on-one, if you don't like someone, you're not feeling someone, don't waste their time. All right, so when it comes to LaRon not being able to balance himself on that surfboard, it can come off to Vanessa that he can't balance her. A lot of times that women will take something that they see that you're failing at and then incorporate it into how that would be in their lives. So the fact of the matter of it is, fellas, that it's certain L's you cannot allow your woman or your date to see you take. If you're bowling and you take an L, okay, it's in fun, maybe okay. Shooting pool, maybe okay. But there's certain things you cannot take an L in because they will identify that with something that's going on in the life that you have personally together or just life in general. All right, it went back to Dominique and Alexis, and they were talking about, the things they're looking for in a partner, what they want out of life with their partner. It was really cool. They exchanged those back and forth, but I don't think Dominic really leaves any wow factors in this date. And I think in every date, a man should need to make an attempt to have a wow moment. What I mean by a wow moment is something that kind of throws your date off, but in a good way. So let's say, for instance, you're on a date, you're having a good time, and at the end of the date, you present her with a single stem rose and tell her thank you. Or at the end of the date, if she has kids, give her a thank you card. Say, hey, saying I appreciate you taking the time to come out and be with me. I know you have kids and you had to get a babysitter. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Put $20, $40 or something else in that for say here, this is for the sitter. You can do something like that. So it can be anything that's given a wow moment, something that makes you memorable to that person. So it's nothing wrong with not doing it, but at the same time, doing it towards someone who you're really into makes a lot of sense. It shows that you're really about them, that you are an intentional guy. All right, so now people are arriving for the Pajama Jammy Jam. And Will and Chaz did not read that same memo that everybody else got. Will came with a short set on, and Chaz got his outfit from K&G. I don't know what's going on, but those two guys just decided to do whatever they wanted to do. All right, so Jonathan and Alexis have a conversation. And in that conversation, Jonathan lets it out that, hey, I have feelings for you. Like, I genuinely do have feelings for you. I like that he did that. I like that he took that first step to say, okay, look, this is how I feel. Because he can gauge where he is with her based upon her response. Now, based upon her response, it was giving exactly what she said. Like, she likes him, but something is missing. He is a bit reserved. So on that reserve end, she needs to see if he has any type of excitement to him, any type of laughter or anything, but he really Jonathan comes off as if he's trying not to say anything wrong. He's trying not to make any mistakes. He's really playing it safe. And he's not taking any chances. He's a little too careful when interacting with the ladies. So I think if he jumped it up a little bit, just a little bit, he'll go a little bit further. So Jonathan, got to do better, bro. All right, so Dominic and Mika have a conversation about friendships. And Dominic says that he never lost a friendship. He only lost relationships because he was never ready. So if you were never ready, why were you entertaining relationships? Why were you going into these relationships to begin with? At what point do you say, wait, I'm not ready? Do you ever say that? And then Dominic said something that really threw me off. He said, I don't get into relationships unless I see something. Now, Mika's next question should have been, what is that you need to see before you make that determining factor if that woman is good enough or is worthy enough or whatever the words you want to use to be your woman. So I think if Mika had grilled him a little bit more like she did Jonathan, she would have got down to the meat of things. But when you really like someone, you give a lot of passes. When you're really attracted to someone, you give a lot of passes. We all are guilty of it. And I think this is what happened with Mika, because she grilled Jonathan, but she didn't really grill Dominique. Notice that? And then the conversation about kids comes up. And Mika says she doesn't want any more kids. So Dominique automatically says, hey, she's not the one for me romantically. However, I still want to pull back some layers. For what? This is what I'm talking about. She's not the one for you because you want to have 2 to 10 kids, as you said many times before, but you still want to pursue her. This is what we're saying, where you're wasting your time. You like to waste people's time, Dominic. That's not a good look. I got that from this whole conversation. You like to waste people's time because you know she's not the one for you, but you're willing to still talk to her. So I'm pretty sure if she's willing to do some things with you intimately, you'll be willing to do that, knowing she's not the one that you need to be with, that she doesn't want to have any kids. So that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like more of a physical thing he's trying to engage with Mika than long term, because you don't say that I'm still going to try to pull back some layers to someone who says they don't want kids when you know for sure that you want a whole dozen of kids. So just rub me the wrong way. All right, so Alonso and Rasheeah, they're out there hitting the kid and play, which is cool, which is fun. But at the same time, I'm looking at Alonso. This dude is cut from a different cloth, man. Something just a little different about Alonso. Why does he have on a bonnet, and why is he wearing high top Nikes to a pajama party? The bonnet can go on. I understand he has dress, but the bonnet can go on when he's ready to go to bed. He didn't have to have that on. So I think he's got like that really quirky type of personality that only a few can really appreciate. And shout out to him for that, man. Hey, you got to be yourself. He's definitely being himself, but that part of being himself can be a little off-putting to the wrong woman, but to the right woman, it could be everything. So, hey, go for it. All right. Then we have LaRon watching Koshia's every move there and being very creepy, in my opinion. He's sipping on liquor, and just watching her, watching to see how close she is to people, watching to see if she's touching someone, watch to see how long she's talking to people. Like, that's too much. You said you were confident, sir. You said that no one's going to take your woman, but now you look like you're very, very insecure. Like, you got a lot of things going on. So more on those two later on. You guys know. All right, so Tommy comes out and let the fellas know, let everybody know really, that ladies, it's your turn tonight, and someone will be going home tonight. All right. Then LaRon tells Rasheeah, hey, don't like anybody more than you like me. That sounds so insecure, man. It just screams insecurities from this guy. Him looking around for Koshia, him telling other women don't like nobody more than me. It's oozing with insecurities, and it's not a good look. It's just not a good look, LaRon. Then William talks himself out of the race with Mika. Like, why would you go to Mika and say you're one of the homies? Or, I know there's no romantic connection here or whatever. You're not going to even try. You're not going to even pretend to try. In this type of environment where it's a vote in, vote out type of situation, you have to do your due diligence and make sure that you're giving at least everybody a shot. I didn't really see you give Mika a shot. I didn't even really see even try to talk to Mika. Maybe some things happened off camera that I didn't see, but I didn't see much effort from you to really interact with her. That's just me. But don't talk yourself out of it, bro. Bad mistake. And the way Mika looked at him, it was obvious. She was like, oh, okay, you count yourself out? Okay, cool. We cool. It dapped him up. That's why. So finally, Will discovers who the one who said that he sleeps on the floor with blankets. Okay, so we all know it's Patrice. He found it's Patrice. Okay, now what? All you did is say, no, that's not the situation. I don't sleep on the floor. You did all that rah-rah last episode, like you were just going to tear the building down when you found out who it was. And when you got to that point, you just kind of caved. It shouldn't have been, and I'm not saying that he should have done something extra. I'm saying he should have let it die when she told him back in the confessional, or back in the last episode. So to me, I think that was a mistake for him to bring that up. It wasn't a big enough deal, really. If he has the strongest connection with Alexis, then he should have just continued to pursue Alexis. Don't worry about the other ladies. But again, it is a vote in, vote out type of show. So you got to do what you got to do. I get that piece. Maya and William take pictures. It's okay. It's cool. I don't really see a connection like that between those two. William seems to think he has a good connection with Maya. I don't see it. I don't know if anyone else sees it. I just don't. All right, then we had Mika and Justin having a little conversation. Justin lets her know I'm a PE coach. Mika asks, okay, are there any other subjects you teach? Oh, just PE. Okay. Oh, you must really love that. That was a little shadow of shade there. I felt that shadow of shade. I don't know if you guys felt it too, but interesting. Then Justin says, he's open to the fact of not having kids, and of course that piqued Mika's interest. But I gotta say this: that it has to be more to someone than the fact of them just not want to have kids. It seemed like everyone's looking for that one thing. It's never just one thing that puts some people together. It's never just one thing that makes you a match with someone. So I just don't want Mika to feel that just because he don't want to have kids, that means they're gonna all be happily ever after. Because her interest got higher, it peaked higher when she realized that he didn't want kids. So I just want her to like him for more than just that, if she gets a chance to know him. But hey, old Justin said he willing to be a stepdad. Why are you willing to be a stepdad? See, this is the thing now. A woman can look good. Mika is a very beautiful woman, very nice. But you got to go by more than just that. You got to understand who those kids are. I'm not saying Mika has bad kids, but bad kids are out there. You really have to take your time, fellas, getting to know these kids and see if they're a good fit for you as well. That's just as important as getting to know the mother. So don't negate that. All right. So next up we have Koshia and Jonathan talking about their favorite colors and her fingernails. Jonathan, you have to do a better job, man, of coming up with better conversation starters than just that. And then after that happens, LeBron comes up. He says, "Hey, man, can I have a moment with her alone?" And obviously, Jonathan said yes, which I don't really understand why the men always give in when someone taps them on the shoulder and say, "Hey, I want to speak to who you're speaking with right now." First of all, that's rude. Second of all, I need for you to wait till she's by herself like I did and pull her to the side like I did. You're not going to interrupt my time with who I'm talking to. You're just not going to do that. Sorry, not sorry. But anyway, Jonathan let him take her away. LeBron takes her away only to be rude to her, saying, "I don't want you to touch me. You doing this, you doing that." And then Maya comes to the table and he completely derails and goes to her. Like, bro, do you know what you're doing? See, first of all, LeBron was drinking. LeBron was drinking heavy. You should have never approached her with that liquor on your breath as hard as it was. Now, I'm not saying you can have a couple of sips, enjoy yourself, but you were tipsy. And it was very obvious. I don't know if you guys saw that as well, but it was very obvious that LeBron was tipsy. You don't approach a woman. You don't discuss issues, important issues in a relationship when you are liquored up. It's just not a good look. And his behavior was just out of pocket, completely out of order. You don't talk to women like that. If you talk to your woman like that, she won't be your woman for long. LeBron was completely out of pocket. So Chaz and Justin, did a good thing. We need more men to take our brothers aside and say, "Man, you're doing this the wrong way." You got to learn to listen. Listening is very, very important. Listen to understand, not listening to respond. And that's something that we often do as men. We listen to respond or we listen to fix something instead of understanding how what our actions did or didn't do made someone feel. So we got to do a better job of that all around, all around. All right. So first we had Chaz and Patrice. And the question was, who was the most attractive, right? Let's say that. Who was the most attractive? And Patrice said, "I think all the ladies will agree that it's you, Chaz." She said even some of the guys will agree that is a bold statement. Um, if I was there, you don't speak for me, but that's a very bold statement. You guys let me know if you think Chaz was the guy. Ladies, let me know if Chaz was the guy. For me, teach their own. That's her decision to make. So what? Chaz seemed to be a pretty stand-up guy. He did put that move on her though before they got that answer. And that's how you do it. You do it in a respectful way. You don't touch, you don't do anything inappropriate. Just ask the question. Look her in the eyes and ask the question. I like the way he did that. That's a real grown man right there. Good job, Chaz. All right, so next we have Mika giving a dare to Maya. So Maya decided to go and twerk on Justin. Justin feels like, hey, if it's the least attracted, I gotta find a way to be emotional. No, sir, she was not interested at all. She twerked, 5 feet away from you. And maybe a little bit closer to that, but still. I just didn't get that vibe he got. And sometimes you have to read the room, fellas, because like Justin think he got a chance, he doesn't have a chance of buying. She's got like 3 or 4 other connections in there. She ain't got no time for nobody else. Let's keep it real. All right, so then we had Dominique and Koshia. You know, Dominique asked Koshia who is her top connection. Is it true that LaRon's her top connection? And she said connection, yes. So that lets you know there's still some things that got to work out because it wasn't just that clear cut. Yes, that's the dude I like. That's the dude I want to go home with. Blah 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 blah. It wasn't that. So because that was missing, LaRon had to take those cues to kind of fix the problem that he pretty much created himself. All right. So next up we had Maya asking Will to go ahead and kiss the feet of the person he has the biggest attraction to. Right. So he goes over to Alexis and with those preacher slippers on. Did y'all see those slippers this man had on? Man, come on, brother. You don't wear them out. Man, you don't wear those out anywhere. You just walk around the room with those on. But anyway, goes over to Alexis and he does little pretend things to kiss her ankle or top of her leg or whatever it is. Okay, cool. All right, so then we had LaRon and Jonathan. LaRon asked Jonathan, hey, your biggest connection, go ahead and whisper sweet nothings in her ear, right? He takes it overboard. He goes up to a woman he barely knows, picks her up, and puts her in his lap. That's a very intimate place to put a woman. So if you're doing that, you guys have either had to be intimate before or you have a history together. You cannot pick a woman up that is so disrespectful, Jonathan. Brother, you got to grow up. Now, I do understand at the same time that Alexis did ask Jonathan to kind of come out of his shell a little bit, and you got to be careful what you ask for because Jonathan went completely out the shell. Matter of fact, he left the shells behind and kept on moving. But you cannot do that, Jonathan. You can't put your arm behind her head and force yourself to kind of give her eargasm or whatever you're trying to do. But it was just inappropriate. And I hope he understands that. I hope he gets that notification from somebody in there. Chaz, since you're the leading counselor there, I think you need to go and talk to your boy. Let him know that wasn't cool. But the way Chaz did it, you saw what he did versus what Jonathan did. Chaz did not put his hands on Patrice. What Chaz did was he extended his arm so she can grab his hand, and he guided her to sit down. And he sat down in front of her and talked to her. That's it. But Jonathan picking her up, surprising her, putting her in an embarrassing situation is just not a good idea. It's just wasn't cool. Okay, I don't know what happened at this point because Tommy just came out of nowhere at the right time because Jonathan needed to cool off. Pretty sure Alexis does too. But Tommy comes in, let the fellas know, hey, it's time. I need your decisions. I need to know what's going on with you. The guys pretty much let them know who they're feeling, who they're not feeling. Turns out to be the last two. It's going to be Koshia and Mika. I really would hate to see Mika go home because I like looking at her. I can't lie. I do like looking at Mika. But Koshia is very pretty as well, especially her confessional. When she's made up in a confessional, very pretty woman. I hate to see both of them go, but Koshia, she has a little bit of that toxicity in her that can be a turnoff. It can be a turn on for some men too. And Mika is not giving enough of herself to the guys. What I mean by that, she's not giving enough attention. She's not giving enough interest to the guys. Her mistake was putting all of her eggs in one basket with Dominique because she liked him from the start. But if she had a conversation with him about the kids, that could have been squashed. She probably had a whole different type of experience here. But because she failed to do that, now she's up for elimination. So hopefully if she gets another chance, she'll come back and she'll learn from it and be better. Also, I don't know why she was so covered up. I'm not saying I expect her to just throw everything out there, but Mika, with her robe, she just had a robe on really, and it was just covered up. Everyone else was like pajamas or whatever the case is, but with her, she stayed tightened up. Now, part of me respects that. Well, part of me really does like that. But the man that's deep within the soul of me would not have minded at all. But I digress. I think that I hate to see Mika go. I hate to see Koshia go. I hate that those are the bottom two to go. I thought Rasheeah was going to be on the bottom two, maybe not go home, but I thought she would have been at the bottom too. She didn't have much interaction this episode. At least they didn't show it. So we're going to see next week about how that goes, and hopefully, out of the two, man, which one do I think it's going to be? I think Rasheeah is going to go home. I really do. But if they did Mika, I would understand it as well, because she wasn't really giving off that vibe that she was really into it. So with that being said, we're going to check that out next week, guys. Until next time, it's your boy Black. Peace.
Black, 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 black.